Hello and welcome to the Amateur Football Podcast. Tabrice here, your host for this Good Friday. Hope everyone is well. So, this is going to be a very interesting conversation, but let me do all of the housekeeping first. Thank you to everyone that's tuning in. Just to let you guys know, on Sunday, one of the most, I'd say the most anticipated show, the DMs, the calls, the conversations, people are looking forward to this. No holding back. Myself, Dwayne, and Tyrone talk about football, and we talk about other things as well. It's an hour and a half, so hold on from the start. So this is coming out this Sunday at 8 o'clock. And this was a moment. We have Jamaal from the London FA and Andy, manager of West Fulham Vets, coming onto the show. There's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of statements that both individuals want to get off their chest. And I'm going to assume there's going to be questions from you guys, the audience. So again, this is what I love about doing live YouTube. Certain things are just being set up, certain things are just being processed. So just hold tight. Again, some like more housekeepings. Again, please like, subscribe, do all the necessary stuff to again grow this channel. And again, thank you to everyone that has supported me from the beginning, the middle. I just feel that I'm still at the beginning of the journey. Just to let you know other like things that are happening. Let me not even say that anything until you guys are seeing stuff on like socials. Big shout out to James, one of the pillars of my community on TikTok. I'm good. Let me see if I can bring in one person in right now. I wonder if he's available. Again, I'm just hold on this. I think my Wi-Fi is sticking. Let me kind of bring in Jamaal. Good. Let me say good evening to Apple. Big shout out to Apple. I'm gonna call him the Simon Jones of grassroots football. He is watching. Big shout out. Very outspoken. He doesn't mix up his words. Please go and watch Apple on Roots TV's network. Like the chemistry is absolutely amazing. But again, Apple is just saying it as it is. So big shout out to Apple. Let me bring Jamaal in. Let's see if he's coming in right now. Jamaal, can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Just waiting for like Andy. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad at all. How's it going?
I'm good. This is again. Let me just kind of thank you because oh. Can you hear me? What's going on with your internet?
Yeah, can you freezing?
Yes, I can just about hear you, but you're frozen. Okay, let me bring in Andy. Andy, how you doing, sir?
Hey, you all right, mate?
I'm good. You can hear me loud and clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jamaal, can you hear me? Jamaal has gone. Andy, how you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Just having a bit of problems with the laptop, so I've had to put you on the phone.
Not
For some reason wouldn't let me in the studio.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Again, this is what we love about live, YouTube. You got to just think on our feet, but literally normally everything's cool. Jamaal, can you hear us?
Yeah, just making sure my Wi-Fi is okay. The freeze last time.
You are like cracking up, but anyway, let me kind of just introduce everyone. Jamaal is a part of the London FA, and Jamaal is one of the most influential people in football. So again, thank you, Jamaal, for like coming onto the show. Andy is the manager of West Fulham Vets, the former London Vets Cup holders, a very outspoken, very passionate man that's got a wealth of knowledge within the game. And again, his network is absolutely vast. So again, Andy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Just like one thing that I just want to say, there's like not going to be a lot of housekeeping, but one thing that I would say is please don't talk over each other, because if you guys talk over each other, I have to mute one of you. So like please respect the other one's comments first, and literally let the like person finish before responding back to like his comment. So yeah, let's like start. Andy, let's kind of start with you really. I mean, what is it that you would like to say to the audience, to Jamaal, the London FA? The floor is yours.
Cheers. Yeah, the first thing I just want to say, this year in the quarterfinals of the cup, has left a quite a sour taste in my mouth, and a lot of anger towards the London FA, especially to Jamaal, and especially to, I think his name's Ian Wells, who is the cup committee person, on how they dealt with an issue I had and the team had with our game. The first thing I'd like to say to Jamaal is it common to send a 17-year-old kid to referee a quarterfinals of a county cup?
I think the football phrase is, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Well, then again, I bring into the thing is he wasn't good enough. He didn't do the basic checks that a referee should do. Check the goals, check you got corner flags, check the nets. We was on 3G pitch. He didn't check the footwear. He didn't do anything. He let someone swear at him. Didn't do nothing. Said in his statement when he was on the when we got a disciplinary charge, said I heard it, but I just wanted to let it go. Then one of my players swear. Second half, he sin bins that player.
Yeah, it'll always be difficult to comment properly, because in regards to respect, I have to respect that you were there and I wasn't. Secondly, and Tabrice can attest to this, the referee on the other side of the draw, the semi-final match between the Charcoal and Independent, came under significant criticism, and he was much older. So I think the age of the referee is completely irrelevant. Also, if you are saying that the referee was substandard because he didn't carry out his pre-match checks, that means 82% of referees are also substandard because they all check out pre-match checks. At the same time, irrespective of it, we have to respect the fact that you were there. I personally respect your opinion significantly. And most importantly, if I was there, I'd be able to judge this for sure. And I know we're going to go into plenty of depth. People always ask me about teams in my competition. I was asked about West Fulham's behavior. I then said, as far as I'm concerned, West Fulham's behavior is as close to exemplary I've ever seen. That was in season 1 when you won the trophy. People were like, oh, but they won, so you can't judge that. The next season, I watched you lose in the cup final. And after that, I still would have to say, I've seen you lose, still say that West Fulham was exemplary. And in that final, the referee gave 2 penalties against you. And irrespective of that, I will still consider your behavior exemplary, because people first said the excuse that you won true colors. I saw you lose. So maybe we can call it a full sense of security. You can call it an error or a misjudgment on my part. I felt as if, not to say that I would just send you anyone, I felt as if in a situation when I do have, I felt pretty secure. But irrespective of what's happened. I'm just letting you. I think you deserve a right to hear it from my side, and that's the way I saw things.
I mean, you said that if you're good enough, you're old enough. I didn't know the kid's age of 17. He didn't have an armband on to say he was underage. I only found out when we had the disciplinary. I mean, and again, I don't understand why we had a disciplinary charge. We didn't do anything. I had to field play only because your referee was talking rudely. He was acting like a spoilt little kid. And I thought if I didn't go on the pitch and get my players away, it could have turned ugly. And with that, I keep hearing respect. I mean, everything I get from the FA is respect, respect, respect. But the respect works both ways. If your referee's not respecting my players or my team, if we say anything, it's discipline. You get you're getting misconduct. What happens to referees? Because I let you know how bad he was on the Sunday afternoon when I texted you and said this referee was not up to his job. But we get hit with a misconduct charge. We get a £120 fine. What happens to these referees that make mistakes?
Referees are put on a league table based on performance. So when a referee underperforms significantly, for instance, they're out of the running of getting bigger matches, including cup finals. So make sure, and please, because we all got, without being cheesy, we all have to work together here. So please make sure that is catered. When a referee significantly underperforms, people need to stop that narrative as if they have no consequences. That isn't the case. Your referee in question was really shooken up by that game. He's only refereed again today for the first time since that match. So if you look at someone, especially at that age, the earning potential, the amount of games they haven't done because of the effect, the emotional effect they had in that game had on him, you've got to understand that there were consequences for him as well. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, you should feel sorry for him or that should make everything okay. No, I don't think that if you're not okay with everything, then yeah, send as many emails as you like. Come on air. I don't care what anyone says. I know you respect me because I'll come on the show. And the only reason we're not face to face because we don't have the time. I'd come face to face. We'll have that discussion. I'm never going to run away from you because when you are being exemplary in my cup and winning my cup, I can't just praise you for the greatness. I have to support you when things are difficult as well, for the challenges as well. You understand that? So that's what it is. Don't ever think there aren't consequences for the referee. There are.
Yeah, but you say the referee was shook by this game. There was nothing to be shook by. He only was shook by the game because he wasn't experienced enough. He's refereed for a year and a half. There was no threats. I mean, when he gave evidence in his thing, he accused one of my players of grabbing his shoulder. The London FA sent them a squad of my players, pictures as well. And he said, oh, I believe it was the captain, Otis Anderson. When he gave his statement, I asked the chair, can you describe the person? He said, yeah, he was mixed raced and he had medium hair. My captain is black. He met my captain when he done the toss up. If someone assaults you or grabs your shoulder, you turn round and you know who's done it. He was not fit or had enough experience. After he gave his evidence, I wanted to put my arm around the kid and say, I'm that's 18. And I felt really sorry for him that you put him in that situation. He was never, ever qualified enough to do that game. You know it's a local derby as well.
Jamaal?
think my Wi-Fi signals at least.
Jamaal, you were like cracking up. The connection's not good. Let me kind of go through some of the comments in the chat box. And again, thank you to everyone that's been putting their comments in. Apple has said, so the real punishment is that they don't get given bigger games. They are deciding titles with some of these performances, and that's their consequence. Jamaal is answering like a Tory. Mo football coaching. As a referee myself, I disagree with under. Let me change the banner quickly. There you go. Let me go back to the question. As a referee myself, I disagree with like under 18s refereeing adult games. I personally don't agree with it. So I mean, yeah, I mean,
Priest, as I said, I didn't know his age until but I knew from the start of the game both teams had 4 subs each, and it was quite a foggy day. I gave him his money, gave him the team sheet, and I said to him, "I'll send the linesman over." He went, we don't have linesmen." So I thought, you know football, Priest, you've played it a long time. You know within 10 minutes what you can get away with this referee. With a referee, you know if they're soft or they're hard. I mean, the team we played got a lot of ex-professionals. I've got some ex-professionals, and they're not silly. They know within 10 minutes what we can get away with this referee. And from 10 minutes, the geezer swore at him. He didn't, and I was shocked when he said in his witnessing when he was there, and he said, I heard it, but I chose to ignore it. Someone went in his face and called him an effing bastard, and he chose to ignore it.
So literally, you were saying at the beginning of the game, the referee chose not to have assistant referees.
Yep. I always give the referee the money, my team sheet before the game. So if anything does go wrong, the referee can get away and not in any problems. And he said to me, I said, I'll send one of my boys over to run the line. And he said, I'm not having linesmen. We don't do linesmen. And I said, but his thing. And I thought, you know what? Don't upset the referee. So I left it. But even their team was saying, wait, you got refereed. And he weren't keeping up with play. I'm not being rude. Refereeing is a hard job. I wouldn't do it for what they get. But they've got to be held accountable for when, as I said, when we make mistakes, when we do wrong, it's easy. The FA give us fines and think, where does this money go? It's easy because if they give the misconduct charge, what can you do? If you appeal it, you've got to pay £45. And most of the time, you don't. We won the case where he accused one of my players of grabbing his shoulder. Never happened. I got £120 fine because I went on the pitch to stop my players losing it because the referee was being rude to him, telling him to shut up. I get £120 fine. And this, what happens to referees? What happens to people when they make mistakes? Look, everyone makes a mistake at work, but you've got to be held accountable. And I don't think these referees get held accountable.
Do you think referees get paid enough? I mean, because again,
no, I wouldn't do it. Well, I think we paid it I wouldn't do it for £45. I wouldn't do it for £45. We need referees, and I'm one of them. I don't. If I would have found out one of my players would have grabbed his shoulder, he would never play for me again. As I said, everything you get from the FA, it's respect, respect, respect. I respect people. Everyone I meet, I always treat people how I want to be treated. But when the referee don't show me respect and don't show my players respect, telling them to shut up, and he was acting like a sport kid. If one of my players would have told him to shut up, sin bin or red card. That's it. And I don't. When he gave his statement, I really felt sorry for him because he was put in a situation he should never have been put in. A quarterfinals of a London Cup with a local derby, 17-year-old kid. And I mean, Jamaal should not have put him in that. He should not have put him in that situation. I've got an 18-year-old son. I felt so sorry for the kid. If I was in the room with him, I'd have put my arm on and said, don't worry about it. It weren't your fault. You just was not experienced. Take the age out of it. He was not experienced enough.
Jamaal, I want you the right to respond.
Yeah, sorry about that, Andy. Wiping it out. All right. Can you guys hear me? Am I a bit smoother now?
Yeah.
Oh. So yeah, I don't know if I caught everything that Andy said, but listen, it's a tough situation. Remember, with the situation we have with Charcoal Independent, not only with the footage, I was actually at the match as well. So it's much easier for me to have an opinion and give my side of things. I don't care what Andy's reaction is like. I still trust him as an individual and as a football person because I've dealt with him enough to be able to respect his opinion and his outlook on everything. Okay, I don't mind taking any of the criticism in regards to this. When a situation works, I get a lot of praise. So when a situation doesn't pan out all right, I should get some criticism, and that isn't an issue. Now the facts are, at the time, I still think the referee in question had more than enough experience because I know of his experience directly. Okay. Now, if Andy's there, I know a lot of referees who underperform any week because that's how refereeing is. You can always get a challenging match and not stand up to the challenge. A lot of the referees who get criticized are in their 30s, 40s, completely grown. So I'm not trying to belittle Andy's opinion. I'm just saying the age of the referee is more irrelevant than you think. Is not as relevant as you think. Okay, because if case in point, Charcoal Independent, that referee's in his 40s, and the criticism he got was way more than this referee will ever get. So try to stick away from the age. I understand the point. I get it because the critical part of what Andy's saying directly is more about conflict resolution, dealing with volatility, and a lot of that comes with life skills, right? We're being honest. I think that's what Andy's main point is. So that's cool. Secondly, administration is very important. I'm not making excuses. Hey, listen, I understand the situation. If I could do it again, I would do it differently. But administration is very important. This is the London Cup. The match wasn't played in London. Outside in certain pockets of London, we have a small pool of referees available. I only get given the match detail, which is the venue and the kickoff time. Referees do not accept games without a venue and kickoff time confirmed. That reduced the pool of available referees to a very, very small pool. Okay? Those are just the facts. I'm not here blaming anyone. I just think everyone who's listening needs to understand the facts. If this match was given to me, that's when I can. Oh.
Jamaal, your like reception's not great, but I think we literally got like the gist of it. I think question to you, Andy, and this is from Mo, footballing coach. Did he do a pre-match talk with both teams to outline his expectations?
Nope. As I said, he turned up 15 minutes before the game. As I say, I gave him his money and the team sheet like I do even in the league games. And the next thing I noticed, he had my captain, their captain. And next thing he done the toss up and that was the point. Next thing we're starting. He done no pre-checks. He didn't. As I said, being on 3G, usually the referee. I mean, even on grass, the referee always comes and checks our boots, the players' boots, make sure they've got no rings on, watches on, and that. And he did none of that. And as Jamaal said, I'm not worried about his age. The age I didn't know his age until the disciplinary hearing when they said he was 17. My problem is he was not qualified enough to do that job. That's my thing. I'm not worried about his age. If the 17-year-old, we've had a young ref in the vets in our league, a young ref. I think he was 21. He was excellent for both teams, and we drew the match, but he was excellent for both teams. It's not about his age. He was not qualified enough to do that game.
Andy,
I'm not worried about his age.
Andy, you were there.
It's about he wasn't.
Andy, you were there, which is fine. You can't tell me that the referee wasn't qualified enough. You're not even aware of the referee's qualifications. I'd rather you just say you felt the referee just wasn't good enough, because what you're doing now, you're speaking about something factually that just isn't correct, and I can't allow you to do that. If you want to make it
I
subjective,
can
then
do that,
fine. Just say the
Jamal, because I
referee
was
was
there.
correct.
I can
Yeah,
do
but
that,
yes,
Jamal.
fine. But I'd rather you question his
He said in
performance
his statement.
than
He said in
performance
his
than his
statement,
qualification.
I lost the game before within 2 minutes of the kickoff. It weren't even a bad game. I don't blame him. I blame you. You shouldn't have put that on him. You shouldn't have
Okay,
put that on him.
then all I'm saying is in the future, because that's gone now. In the future, I need venue and kickoff time confirmed quicker, and then also
I gave
the
you a
match
week's
needs to be
notice.
within London.
I gave you a week's notice.
Well, let's not argue about the facts, Andy. Hey, listen.
Well, no. You
That's
brought it
gone now.
up. You brought it up.
Yeah, I know.
I gave you a week's notice.
I'm telling you the situation. I'm telling you the situation.
But you told me I've got to give it more than time with you. I gave you a week's notice. Is that not enough? If you didn't have a referee, tell me. Say, I can't go. We rearrange the game. Don't try and put it onto me.
Okay.
I gave you the statement a week before.
You're not being fair, Andy, because
I am being fair. I'm being very fair. I'm not having you telling me that I didn't give you the team sheet.
I've accepted the criticism. I'm just saying.
Well,
yeah,
but don't try and say.
In the future, I need the
Don't try and
venue
say to me.
But for me, sorry, okay, we're okay. We're okay, Tabriz. Don't worry, we're okay. All I'm saying is, I would prefer you to just because you're moving along the correct lines. If you want to criticize the referee's performance and handling of the match, that's fine, because that's subjective. That's fine. You were there, we weren't. You shouldn't be questioning the referee's qualifications. Those are matters of fact. You aren't aware of the referee's qualifications. I promise you.
Well, I can go on what I see, and I've been in the game a long time, long time.
Just keep it to the performance, please, because what you're doing is you're questioning his qualification. That isn't fair.
What am I going to do? Get another misconduct charge?
No. Listen, I feel I understand all of your frustrations because I think you're dealing with it very, very well, because a lot of people wouldn't deal with it as fast as you are.
I'm not.
So I'm with. Hey, listen. You have to understand. I know this is a difficult situation for both of us, but I still respect the way you're handling the situation, because it couldn't have been an easy pill to swallow. Okay, but all I'm saying is, like I said, question the performance, please, not the qualifications. That's all I'm saying. Okay. In the future, the earlier the better. The more in London, the better.
I gave you a week's notice. I gave you a week. How much more can I give you? A week's notice.
I have to respect the challenges that all of you want to go through, because I know refereeing's tough. I honestly think overall running a team is harder. Our 90 minutes as a referee is harder than yours, but the overall running of a team, I think, is even harder than refereeing. And part of that is getting a ground. It's difficult to get a ground. It's difficult to get the venue and the kickoff time confirmed. I know that difficulty. Okay, so I'm just trying to let you know that I understand some of the frustrations you're going through. So,
how long do you want to get a read? Is a week not enough?
No. So here's the thing, because one thing is good is I would like you to help all of us to understand what you go through when you're having to book a venue. If I said to you, so let's just say, for argument's sake, let's just say I needed 3 weeks notice. Would that be possible, or would that be too difficult? Because I know you don't own your own ground, so it's difficult. So what's the situation?
Well, no, I've got a lot of contacts in the game. I can find somewhere, but what you have to do, you have to set a rule. You have to change the rule to say, right, you need 3 weeks notice where you're getting the pitch from, where you're getting that from, and then we have to come into order with that.
Okay, I'll be honest with you, because the guidance is 14 days, and the rules is 10 days. But because of the pitch situation, you might be okay because your contacts. A lot of people aren't, quite frankly, aren't as good as you, to be honest. So that's why we're quite relaxed with the finding process, because until we as a FA total are able to improve the pitch situation, we can't really be forcing you guys and say, oh, it's the 9th day, I need 10 days notice, bang. We kind of just crack on. Now, to be fair to you, Andy, I make sure all the dates for all the London Cups, especially the vets, are done from the 22nd of July. Tabriz makes sure that the draw is done 28 days before the next round. So that allows you a 4-week period to know if you're home or away, and you can book the venue as early as possible. Now, I know we're talking about this incident, which is in the past, which is fine. It should be spoken about. But in the future, if I've done everything I can do from 28 days, the earlier the better, because that gives me a wider pool of referees to be available.
Okay. So let's kind of go on to the next, let's say, situation regarding this particular game. But before we do that, Roots TV. This is probably more for you, Jamaal. I don't know if Andy had to pay a £45 fee to appeal? I'm not too sure. Is that true,
Yeah,
Andy?
I had to pay £90 because we had to appeal one decision, and then I had to appeal the supposed grab of the referee, which we won. We got that back.
Okay. So a question to you, Jamaal. Where is the money going?
So yeah, so the appeal fee is set to just to make people don't make frivolous appeals. Obviously, this apply Andy situation. He had definitely some sort of solid grounds for appeal. Then after that, the money mostly goes back into like the football development fund to basically fund disability football, pitch improvement plans, all that sort of thing.
Okay, cool. Andy, there are probably some like other stuff that you want to talk to Jamaal about, and yeah, again, I'd kind of allow you to take the floor.
Yeah, just about because we've been having dialogue over the game about someone playing an registered player, an ineligible player, sorry, and basically trying to deal with Jamaal, sending him emails, not responding to my emails. I asked him for the team sheets for both teams. He was we're not obligated. The FA are not obligated to give you the team sheets. That I didn't understand why, because there's no data protection issue on it, so that shouldn't be a problem. And I, as I say, I don't understand. I'm still waiting also for my email that Ian Walls said sent on the 4th of March, giving the reason why we've been expunged from the competition. I had an email from Jamaal saying the committee have had a meeting, the result on the day stands, this matter's closed. So I still don't know why they've basically expunged us from the competition.
Jamaal?
So apologies, Andy. What I try to do is to make sure all of the other competitions are complete before my first cup final starts. Between March up until Easter, I have to run nearly 25 cup finals for the youth. So that's my top priority. That's the only reason why there were slow replies on the email. So not making excuses, but I have to give you an explanation as to why. I am sorry for the slow replies. That isn't good enough. So let's just make that clear to everyone. My apologies. I'm really sorry about that, Andy. Secondly, the chair of the Cups committee was who you were liaising with. When I'm that busy, he's then supposed to take over with administration to give you the information you need and at least be able to respond to your queries. So that's the reason behind that. In regards to why you weren't thrown out from the competition. Usually when the match gets abandoned, the discipline team separately and the Cups committee try to determine who's at fault and then remove them from the competition. Without being cheeky, I'm not trying to be patronizing, but why you were exited from the competition was because the opposition scored more goals than you. They just allowed the result to stand.
Well, they were only 2-1 up when he sin binned my player. So that you can take that again from the point of all. Yes, we were losing 2-1 at the stage. He then decided to sin bin a player after he was telling people to shut up. So I can take that thing. But again, Ian Walls sent an email to a guy that was dealing with who's on our panel or my committee, said that we were expunged from the competition, and an email was sent out to me, to someone else on the 4th of March. So were we kicked out, or was result? So it's two people saying two different stories when you're both on the committee.
Oh yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be technical, but I'm not on the committee. Staff aren't allowed to be on the committee. Secondly, they made a judgment for the result to stand. So that's what I outlined to you. That was outlined to me. So the Cups and Competitions Committee said the result's going to stand. Clear this up for me, please, because it needs clearing up. The report was that you were 4-1 down after 77 minutes.
We were 2-1 down. He then sin binned a player. Mm-hmm. They scored again, and then he sin bins another player. Mm-hmm. Then we were 4-1 down. And that's when I come onto the pitch. And again, this is what I mean. The referee told one of my players it was 65 minutes. He told me it was 75 minutes. Then in his report, he put 78 minutes. So this is what I'm trying to say with I just don't think he had enough experience to do the game. He was flustered. And it wasn't even a bad game.
I prefer you. Oh, Have I frozen? Sorry, did I freeze?
No, we can still hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, Andy, I prefer you to say that. I think that's fair. If you want to question the experience, that's cool. I think that's fair. I have to respect you there. Moving forward, I recommend all managers, at least one person from each team, to run the time on their own. Okay? Whenever there's a, and it's very, very rare. You probably don't run your watch because why would you need to?
But no, usually I have
VO.
I have VO, but for that day it never worked.
Okay. Well, the camera didn't record. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah. Trust me, I know about that. But yeah, sorry. So I chose my words very carefully, Andy, because once again, you were there, I wasn't. The report said this. If you're saying the report wasn't correct, we've got to respect that. But the reports were that you were 4-1 down after 78 minutes. Any match abandoned for bad light, weather, misconduct, violence, large, almost all of them will stand if the game was that late with the score that wide. Okay?
Even the referee, when he abandoned it, said, "I've abandoned it, away win." He can't call that. He shouldn't call that.
He shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that.
This is what I mean.
He shouldn't be telling anyone to shut up.
That's what he said. He said away. He said fault. He said it's an abandonment, away win. And I stood there for 5 minutes with their manager and me. I said to him, "Why are you abandoning the game? There's no need. There's no problems."
So yeah, can you?
As I said, that's what I don't understand.
So sorry, Andy. So help us, because all of us watching weren't there. So you have to really paint a picture for us. Are you able to just talk through like the 2 minutes before the referee abandoned the game and maybe like the 2 minutes after? What? Because something must have happened.
Yes, one of my players swore, and he was sin binned. So that's life. If you sin bin, that's life. But then my argument was, I said to the referee, "But you didn't do it in the first." He said, "I didn't know who said it." The guy went in his face and said, "You effing B" to him. So he sin binned. Then all of a sudden, one of my other players said to him, and this player's never even been booked for me, said, "How long left on the sin bin?" And then all of a sudden the referee, shut up, go away, shut up, get out of my space, shut up. So I see my players getting wound up. I walked on the pitch and said, "Ref, you can't talk to him like that." I didn't swear at him. I didn't threaten him. I don't do things like that. And he then went, "That's it, game abandoned, away win." Then we went to the sideline. I spoke to him with the other person's manager. I said, why are you talking to people like that? And why have you abandoned the game? It's not even a bad game. He went, "No, I've had a bad day." So I left it because I'm not being rude. I didn't want to you can't, when he said he'd abandoned it, you can't change their minds. So I just left him. But this is what I think. I'm not going to give too much away because even in the disciplinary hearing, I felt for the guy. I felt for him because he was just not qualified. We'll get that. He just didn't have enough experience, and he lost the plot. And as I say, refereeing's a hard game, and I've never had any issues with people hitting the referee or threatening the referee. Never.
No, I believe you on that. I believe you on that.
So it's just, as I said, it's just the thing. He wasn't had enough experience with the thing. I'm not being rude. Again, I go back to, if we tell a referee to shut up, sin bin. You can't, and I'm not being rude. And I know you're always going to back your referees. I will always back my players. But sometimes they're in the wrong, and you just have to say, he didn't handle it well.
Okay.
No, I'm not really afraid. Whenever a referee is clearly in the wrong, especially in certain situations, I'm not really afraid to say that to the ref on air, to the face, privately, publicly, whatever, because unfortunately, this is part of a referee's journey. If that referee quits and never referees, it's kind of a bit of a waste. If that referee does go on to excel to the higher levels of the game, it's going to be because of these experiences. Now, that's difficult for the teams because, they almost have to lose out or have a difficult afternoon, even get, like people said in the comments that their places in competitions are at risk. I understand, but that is part of the refereeing journey. It's part of the coaching journey. It's part of driving. It's part of learning medicine, learning law. You've got to be put in situations and learn from them. So in regards to, I think Mimi's asked a question. Sorry, Tobias, I didn't mean to jump the gun.
Yeah,
but providing support for them.
Yeah.
In terms of providing support for the referee, it is literally having conversations with this referee, speaking through the incidents, allowing the referee to come out with his view on things, and then saying, listen, I'm getting feedback from very reputable people, from teams who have been in my competition for years, who I've seen lose major referee decisions go against them, and them still take it on the chin very respectfully. Then all of a sudden we have this incident and we have to go through it, you know? So for instance, you kind of have to almost restart their training again. It's almost like taking them back, because it's almost like an injury. You have to kind of restart them again and get them going again and say, hey, listen, what could have been done to avoid if a different referee, forget about a better referee, forget about a more experienced referee, just a different referee. If a different referee was refereeing that game, would that game have been abandoned? If a different referee was refereeing that game, would there have been as much difficulty and turbulence? If you think a different referee would have handled this game better, why? You know, was it your demeanor? Was it your positioning? And I'm not disrespecting Andy. Obviously, pre-match checks are very important, but pre-match checks and those things don't have as much of a bearing on match control. So we're looking at specifically the match control. What part of this game where this game got above you as a referee? And then when the game gets above you as a ref, it's very difficult to get back on top of it and bring it back down. You know? So that's just how the support part works.
He said in his statement, within 2 minutes, it was too big for him. Usually the referees, the younger referees that when I've dealt with, usually they run by the letter of the law, because they've just qualified or they've just started doing it. As I said, I found at the start, I gave him his money and I said, I'll send my linesman over. He went, I'm not having a linesman. And on that day, it was a foggy day on the Sunday. I then said to him, before the game, I said to him, like, you sure you're not having a linesman? He went, no, I don't do that. So I thought, leave it, because it's going to end up, you're going to get on the wrong side of him. For a young lad, he didn't move from the centre circle, either side of the centre circle he was on. And as I said, it was a difficult situation for him to be in because the weather was bad. So having a little bit, and you know, as a referee, if someone keeps putting your flag up, you make the decision. If you don't think they're off, you play on. It's just the thing.
We're gonna sorry. Yeah, we're gonna have not now, but we're gonna have definitely a big discussion about what we call club linos, so club assistant referees. And I want all of you on, especially people like Andy. I want to hear from everyone, because obviously after that situation early in the season with independent LSU, I was really considering, do we even need club assistant referees? Now we know there's a lot of people out there who run the line for their team and do it honestly, only put the flag up when they think someone is actually.
But you know the ones. But Andy, you know them, and then the referee deals with it.
You got a lot of experience, and you must have seen a lot of cheating linos in your day. Loads.
But the referees tend to crack on, and as I said, the referees and the referees in the end, they're the law. If they don't think it's offside, they play. I
question, and I don't mean to make this show early, because we need to have a whole show on this. But if someone like Andy's brain understands, the referee will make the final decision, then we have to question, why do we need the club lino in the first place? Because I just feel like because we're dealing with a level of football where we don't want things to become VAR, we don't want toenails and shoelace offsides, right? So if the referee is in a central position, if it doesn't look offside from the referee's position, it's more like, well, we just play on. And if it looks offside from the referee's position, we definitely know it's offside if it looks offside from the central. I'm just thinking about the future, because what we don't want.
I'm not being rude. From a young kid, you learn. You play to the whistle. So if the flag goes up, you don't stop. You play to the whistle. That is, I was drummed in from a young age. You play to the whistle. So if the ref, I've had it where one of my lads had put the flag up, referee just said he's played on after he's gone up and said, I think he was on, no problem. And you've just got to accept it.
So in your experience, then, would you think that club linos add value to the game, or do you think they disrupt the game? Because that's the main question.
It depends. I mean, if I had my way, and I know there's not
on average
in the London Cup, I would be willing to pay for linesmen if we had enough.
Yeah,
I would, but it's 50-50. You get some that put their flag up, but as I say, the referees that know the game and think the game, in the end, you get found out, and in the end, maybe he was offside, because you keep putting the flag up, the referee plays on.
Okay.
Well, either way,
Okay.
Tabrice, I mean,
Yeah.
whenever we have this is the kind of discussion that I want,
Yeah.
because I think it's really important. I think a lot of criticism that any county FA or national FA get is because we don't do this enough. We don't front up people, speak to them enough, get enough direct feedback from them, and find out what we want, because it is our job to serve them. That's the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I would want that show to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that conversation, whoever is part of it, is going to be very uncomfortable, but it's something that we kind of need to talk about. Moving away from the officials, Andy spoke about a player that was playing for the opposition. Do you want to give more context, Andy, to that situation, and literally how did you find the whole process?
How much time we got left? Right. It was brought to my attention about 10 days after our game that a player for the, I'm not going to name him, but a player for the other team was ineligible. He played in a step 5 team, and in the rules, what we read, I mean, again, I've read them. I've asked other county people to read them. They've read them that he is ineligible. Well, so, but the FA are reading it through that he's not eligible. He's got to play 3 times for it. So it's baffled me with the thing I've had. I mean, in the end, I just left it to my committee member who's on the West Fulham committee for me. He was dealing with it because it got to a stage where I weren't getting responses back. I had so much evidence. I mean, he even scored against us the second goal thing. So we've been told that he's not ineligible unless he's played 3 times for this club, which he's only played twice, I think. So yeah, I think the rule needs clarifying, either rewritten or something, because it don't make sense. Because I've read it and I thought he's broke the rule. I've asked people from Middlesex to read it. I've asked people from Surrey to read it. I've asked my Saturday people who run the league to read it, and they all read it is where he's not ineligible. But the FA have said this is how it's worded. This is how we interpret it. Again, you can't. It come to a stage. I even took it to Wembley FA, and I was shocked to find out that the county cups, they have got no one to answer to. The FA cannot get involved in county cup decisions, which I find absolutely baffling, because they run football. They're the governing body of everything, but they cannot get involved in county cup issues. They have no say. So the committee has no one to answer to.
Jamaal?
Yeah. And I assume it's my Wi-Fi again. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. It seems to be really, really, really choppy.
But and just if he's not there, it doesn't mean. I even found out this player has 2 fan numbers, which I thought was against the rules. But
and
again,
she could, and she, can you like explain what a fan number is?
basically, when you register on a club, you get a fan number, and you get it's your fan number. When you register, you get a registration number. So if you put Andy Druce registers for West Fulham, you'll always have a fan number. That'll be your fan number until you don't play anymore. And I found out that the guy's got 2 fan numbers, which I was told that's not allowed. But again, the FA have said it's a miss thing. It's because they've not registered his full name. One club he plays under a 3-barrel name, and the club he plays for, where he gets paid for, he plays under something thing. So 2 names. So to me, that's trying to, if anything goes wrong for him, for the club that we played, the club that he gets paid for, never find out. So if he gets sent off, that won't affect him getting thing. And we were told he's not breaking any rules having 2 fan numbers. So it's just something that it don't sit right with me. And I've proved everything. I mean, the amount of evidence I have, and it's just don't. It just we always get back. Oh no, he's done nothing wrong.
Okay.
Sorry,
Jamaal.
I cut out a bit. I think I got enough of that. Andy, come in if I'm missing anything, please. So, and a fan or FA number is basically just a player identification number. What happens is when a club are trying to register someone, they'll try and search for that player. If they cannot find that player, because they're usually under pressure, i.e., they want to register a player to play tomorrow or Sunday, they then create a new fan for that player just to get them on the system. And then if you have a player who is quite, what's the best way? I won't say promiscuous, but jumps around teams a lot. It's very, especially for a veteran player, because a lot of them been playing for a long time, but literally a vet. Sometimes a player, one individual can have 6, 7 different FA numbers. Now the problem is, I play for Tabriz FC, I get a red card. That's on a Saturday. I then go play for West Fulham with Andy the day afterwards. I get an all football suspension. It's attached to one of my FA numbers. Andy then plays me the next day on a different FA number. Someone finds out, Andy's team will get punished for playing a player under suspension. Okay, so that's where the confusion happens. Now, what we try to do now, the National FA has now put sort of like a helping system called, I think it's Grassroots. I thought it was called. But to offer that, so people don't generate more than one FA number for one individual. We need every individual with just one FA number. So that's what creates the bit of confusion. I feel for Andy a bit. I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people who are just going to jump on his back just because. I'm sorry. I disagree with some things. I agree with some things. I think the rules, we'll look at the rule. I was in the committee meeting a few days ago, and we are looking at adjusting some rules just so it creates less confusion, you know? In the regards to the player in question, there is a rule in place to where any vets team that's attached to a Saturday club, if a vets team were to get to the latter stages of a competition, that first team can't just put their first team players into the vets who are 35 plus. So you put a rule in there saying you cannot play 3 or more matches at step 6 or higher for that club. But that only applies to those sort of clubs, like sort of Sporting Bengal, those sort of clubs who have a vets team and a first team that play on the non-league pyramid or the National League system. That rule doesn't apply to FC Shepherd's Bush because they don't play at step 6 or higher. Now, I will never criticize Andy or his colleague because I can understand how they misread that rule, irrespective if they misread the rule or not. When you send an email, it's reasonable to expect a response within 2-3 days. That did not happen. So then not only do they feel they've been wrong, email responses were sluggish. Then when you feel you've been wrong and people aren't getting back to you, it's very natural to feel that then that organization is hiding something from you or trying to clean something up behind your back, or you start to feel this corruption or anything like that. So I'm sorry, I don't care how upset Andy will ever make me. If he's in a position like that and I can see how he got in that position, I got to say, sorry, Andy, apologies on our side. We should have been more efficient. I understand your frustration because the bottom line is the Vets Cup can survive without West Fulham. Without West Fulham, the Vets Cup ain't quite the same, you know? And I want Andy to feel comfortable, whether he does or doesn't. I want Andy to feel comfortable enough to enter teams in my competition. Without people like Andy, the London Cup just ain't the same. Simple as that. And it's not just Andy, there's loads of people as well. But all of them coming together is what makes the London Cup special. And that's why, and I'm making this clear to everyone, you name anyone else who's willing to come on air like me. Andy knows he has plenty of information to make things very awkward and difficult for me on here. I don't care. I'm not running. Let's discuss it. Let's go chin to chin. Let's try to come to an agreement. We can't, well, at least we try. I'm not running from anyone. And the least a man like Andy deserves is an explanation. So that's why I'm here.
Well, so I talked to, let's go back to the thing you say about the fan numbers. So is it thing that he should have the same email address? Because I've got on good record that the guy that runs Shibu, he does the double barrel name and he changes the email for them. And also on the thing, if Shepherd's Bush and Shibu are the same team, why have they got different chairmen, different secretaries. Surely, I've got two teams. I'm the chairman. My wife's the secretary, and someone is the treasurer. If you're the same club, why have you got two different chairmen, two different secretaries? It's just things like that. I mean, I know you about the fan number. I mean, but when I log on players, as soon as I put the name in, and as soon as I put the email in, their name pops up and says, this guy already exists. You press on that and that's that. So
Yeah,
why?
no disrespect to you, Andy, though. No, sorry, no disrespect to other people. A lot of people won't be as skilled as you when running
But
a club.
he's been running teams. He's been running teams as long as me. So I take that with tongue in cheek. He knows.
Okay, cool.
He knows his way. I'm not being rude. He knows his way about things. And it's just, why do you need if you're the same player? I understand you make the name, but you don't have to have a different email. You can say what you want to me, Jamaal, about that. I know I've been done over. I know I've been done over. And
Been
good
done
luck
over
to
by what?
whoever wins the London Cup. Good luck to them. But it just don't sit well with me when I've proven that this player and this club are not. I mean, he's not even registered for the first team. I've looked at their registrations. I've looked at Shepherd's Bush and I've looked at Shepherd's Bush Shebu. I've looked at all their emails, all their registrations, pictures as well. That player is not on the Shepherd's Bush. He's on the Shebu one. So I don't understand, if you're the same club, why you need the same chairman. You've got different chairmen, different secretaries. If you're the same club, you do the same thing, and you'll have people. Oh, if an emergency, you contact these people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can understand something definitely doesn't look right. I don't know if that's like ineligible misconduct though. Like just because a team doesn't run as linear as it should, I don't know if that's reason to say they should be fined or thrown out of a competition. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like it. Even at the
No, I just
professional
want the
game.
rules. There's teams out there that do everything above board
Sure.
thing, and I just want people to take note and own up, and just when I ask them something, get back to me. I mean, Ian Wills, I've never met the Ian, whatever his name is, so arrogant because he's on the other end of a computer. Don't get back, and when he does get back, makes arrogant comments. It's about the fact that I proved, as I say, I have two teams. I have a Saturday team, the open age team. I have a Sunday team, the vets team. You look on my whole game system thing. I'm the chairman. My wife's the secretary, and I the same thingy bob. I have never known a club, and when you log on to the thing, your whole games, you should have a thing to have two different chairmen, two different secretaries. I've never, in all of football, I've been doing it 15 years. I've never known that.
Oh no, no. We have a lot of clubs like that. A lot of clubs. There's lots of different reasons for that. Without getting into too much complication, but one in particular was youth teams, so like massive clubs who have a first team in the National League system. Let's just pick like Wingate and Finchley, for instance. During the affiliation process, if they had like an under nines coach whose DBS had run out, then their first team wouldn't be able to affiliate and wouldn't be eligible to play until that sorted. So what would happen? They would break into two separate clubs: Wingate and Finchley adult, Wingate and Finchley youth. So there's still one club as run, but in terms of affiliation, the two separate clubs. So
yeah, you're talking at a club with multi teams. This is two teams, and this player is not registered for Shepherd's Bush first team.
But but he played for the vets team though, so he doesn't need to be registered for the first team.
But you're saying you with the vets team that they can't bring all their first team down.
Yeah, so for a club with multi teams who has a first team that play at step 6 or higher, and have a vets team like Enfield Borough or Sporting Bengal, I think those are the only two that applies to. That rule is to stop them putting all their first team players who are 35 plus playing in the vets for a semi-final or a final. So the way you interpreted it, which I understand how you interpreted it that way, is any player who plays 3 or more matches at step 6 or higher is ineligible for any vets football. And that's not how it works. It's got to be for that particular club. But for this situation, it doesn't apply. And that's why your complaint have been taken any further.
I'm just going to think, if he plays in the semi-final or the final, they breach the rules.
How so?
Well, he's played twice for them now. So if he plays in the final or the semi-final, that takes it up to 3 if he plays at step 6 and above. Is that correct? Is that right?
That's incorrect, because he has to play at step 6 or higher for that club. But that club that club's first team doesn't play at step 6 or higher. He plays for a different club.
He's not registered for the first team.
I know.
So your rule don't read like that. Seriously, it just.
I mean, it's interesting how you guys even found that rule. I mean, you guys would have had to send someone to look through all 26.
Yes, as I said, I've got some good contacts.
Well, it's interesting. But that's the issue. If you go fishing to find a reason to see why if a team have breached the rule, sometimes you're going to misinterpret it because you're new to it. You know, I mean, I don't think they expect everyone to read all the rules. That's not realistic.
No, but I had people from other counties. I've had people from other counties read it, and they've all read it how I've read it. So I accept that. I had the person that was helping me, who's on my committee. He's a step 5 referee.
Yeah, but referees aren't trained in competitions like that to understand.
No, but he's been on boards he's won leagues, he's won things. So I thought that when I first read it, I thought, I'm reading it wrong. And I've asked people, and they've all come back and said to me, no, they have breached the rule. So if you're getting, as I said, I'm not the most cleverest person in the world. So that's why I ask people. If I'm getting people that are on committees on the Middlesex, on the Surrey, then surely if they're reading it like I am, you've got to change that rule and make sure that everyone understands that rule.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think irrespective of that, we're going to do that anyway. We're definitely looking to doing that anyway. But you can't just speak to any county FA person. You've got to speak to someone from the competitions department. You've got to speak
no one would get back to me, Jamaal. No one would get back to me. I asked for this. No one got back to me. So I can't do when you keep sending the emails and you don't get responses. In the end, you have to ask other people about the competition. So I phoned up and asked someone at Middlesex and said, in your cup, what does that? And they said to me, they read the rule, sent the rule over. I mean, Ian Wells even sent the rules to me again. And I said, I know that's the rule. It's the same rule. I said, you're reading off the wrong rules. It's just left a very, very bad sour taste in my mouth.
I can see why.
Yeah, and like to you, Andy. I mean, with this whole incident, like how is that? Well, first and foremost, how like do you feel about the London FA in general?
I've lost all respect for him.
How do you feel about Jamaal? And again, I don't know in terms of what you're thinking regarding next season about entering.
We're 50-50. I mean, I spoke to other clubs that are not entering in it, and it's going to be sad because it's going to make the competition lower. But at the moment, it's still, even though it was in January, it's still very raw for me, and it's just at the moment, it's just I'm 50-50. As I say, it just feels like we've been robbed, basically. Yeah, we weren't good on the day, and they might have beat us 4-1, but it was a big decision from the referee. All I asked for is consistency. If they swore, I mean, in my statement, I admitted I walked on the pitch. I admitted my play. If my team do something wrong, I own up to it. Because, as I say, I believe if you've done the crime, you get caught, you've got to take the time. So, no problem with that. It's just the fact of it is that, I mean, the other team, their statement, it was like someone was in the room, written all the statements for them together. And I understand why they did that, because they want to get through. But this team, we know, and they threw me under the bus. Their manager's a snake, and I will never ever talk to him again. And he knows that. And I told him that to his face on the committee when we had the disciplinary. People making statements don't turn up, so you can't question them. It means we get fined if we do something wrong. Fine. And when you get a disciplinary, we want all your responsibility by Tuesday. When I need something and when I try and get hold of someone, it's like pulling teeth. You can't get anyone. If I've made mistakes with the rules, get back to me. Jamaal's got my number. Get back to me. All I ask for is honesty and people not treating me like an idiot. That's all I ask for. If he'd have come and said to me, look, you've done this, the referee, this, I have to accept it. If he'd have phoned and said, maybe I shouldn't have had the referee on there. He totally takes the whole situation out. I have nothing to moan about. It's just the fact that I've been not given the respect that I think I've earned and what respect I give to them. And as I say, we're 50-50 at the moment with it because it's left a very, very sour taste in my mouth.
Jamaal?
Yeah, sorry. As far as I'm concerned, West Fulham will be in the London Cup next season. Why? Because Andy feels the way he does. I 100% understand why he does. In my opinion, people in football like Andy, competing and winning, it's in the blood. It's in the DNA. And Andy, listen, you can join wherever other competition you want. Okay? It ain't like the London Cup. You belong in this cup. I'm really sorry. We have
Well, I
not
thought
given
that because you're my FA. It's who we're affiliated with. It just said it just don't feel like we've been treated very well. And it feels like we've been treated like just like nobodies. It's like, oh, they're only this team. Don't worry about it. And I'm not being rude. I spoke to other teams that feel like this.
Yeah.
And the teams that are not entering as well, not entering, it just makes the cup a lot weaker.
Yeah,
I love the
listen,
London Cup. I love the London Cup.
I know, and that's why you're entering next season. But I'm just saying, I hear this at the end of most seasons. People saying they're not entering, and yet last season 52 teams entered the Vets Cup. This season 63 entered. So all these teams that say that they're not entering, that's just how you feel.
With me, it's not
It's
about
how you feel in
the
August. It's not how you feel now. It's how you feel in August.
At the moment, but it's not about losing. We lost last year to a better team. I stood there and clapped them. I will never ever have sour grapes. There's always going to be winners, always going to be losers. The year before, we was on the winning. I know how it feels.
Yeah, but if you don't enter the cup, you're a loser because you can't win it.
But that's it. It's not about
that
football.
situation isn't enough.
Just feels about the people that are running this competition didn't have the decency. When I dropped emails to them, not respond to me. How bad is that as an organisation?
Andy, you can't say that. I admitted the responses were slow. You got to respond every time.
It weren't just you, Jamaal. It was the chief executive. It was the chairman of the cup committee.
Yeah, but you got responses. You just would have.
You're not straight away. I had to send 2-3 emails. That's why I stopped dealing with it, Jamaal.
Yeah,
that's why I stopped it. I got one of my committee members to do it because he had the time to do it.
Andy, you can't say you didn't get responses when you did. You've got to say what it is because people will believe you. You have to say, I got responses.
Jamaal,
they just should have been.
I texted you twice about the rule. Can you send me the rule? Never got back to me. In the end, the only way you got back to me is when I copied discipline in.
Okay. May I ask you a question? Because you and I have always had a pretty open relationship. Why didn't you call me on the situation?
No, I WhatsApped you. That's done now. I'm not going through any more WhatsApp.
I tell you this now. In March, I'm the most difficult person to contact in March. The Youth Cup finals are my top priority. If you called me, because I'm making it clear. If this sort of situation happens again, I'm trying to make it clear what I would do different to make it smooth. I've done my part. I would like you to do your part now. And if I doubt this would ever happen again, but if it did, if it's during the month of March, I'm making it clear. The Youth Cup finals are my priority during March. Please call me next time. Please call me next time. That's all I'm saying.
To be honest, I'm not calling you. I'm not WhatsApping you. It's all going through. Anything now is going through the proper channels. And I've got receipt because I've tried this. I sent you WhatsApp.
You didn't try. You didn't call me. You didn't call me. You can't say you did everything you could have done. You didn't. You could have called me. Okay? Because if someone
emailed me, even if I was busy, just to say, you just drop a thing, say, at the moment, busy, I'll get back to you. How hard is that?
Hold on, Andy, you can't respond to something that you don't know exists. How many emails do you think I get a day? You think I just run the Vets Cup? How many London Cups are there, Andy?
Then maybe get someone else then.
How many competitions do I run, Andy? No, Andy, I'm asking of you an open mind. That's fair because you're an open-minded person. You must understand. I have 1,100 teams, Andy. 1,100.
Yes, I understand that. So you've got no one else that can help you, no?
You got my number. You could have called me. Please, next time, call me, and I will make sure. Because I guarantee you this now.
Why would I call you after you've ignored emails, ignored WhatsApp messages?
You can't
and I know
say
you've read them because you get the blue ticks.
You can't say I've seen your emails. All I'm saying is, please consider, because I can't tell you what to do. You're a grown man. In the future, please consider please consider calling me if that happens again, please. Anything urgent, please consider calling me in the future, because people like yourself have my number for a reason, because I know you won't waste my time. I know you respect my time. I'll always feel respected by you. Please, in the future, please consider calling me if it's urgent. Please. That's all I ask, okay? If you decline, that's cool, but please call me in the future. That's all I ask.
Andy, is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up?
No.
Jamaal?
I look forward to seeing West Fulham in the competition next season. Simple as that. Fantastic club, ran by a fantastic person. Let's go. Compete. Got to compete for honors. You only get one life. Yeah, you lift it. What's better than winning the London Cup? Winning the London Cup twice. Win it again. Can't win if you're not in it. Let's go.
I want to thank everyone that's actually tuned in. Actually, before we go, I have a comment here. And again, thank you to everyone that's been watching. We can vouch for Jamaal. We'll actually pick up the phone if you call him. Fair play for taking the time to talk about this issue. So yeah, listen, I mean, again, I just want to kind of thank Andy, manager of West Fulham. And again, let me just repeat, wealth full of knowledge, contacts, and again, yeah, he is not only passionate about his team, he's kind of passionate about teams in and around his area, and also Jamaal as well. Yes, I have to agree to say that I think you are probably the only senior official that's willing to kind of come on to platforms like this to literally, talk about certain things. So yeah, I've got to shout both of you out, definitely 100%. And again, thank you. Again, if there's kind of literally anything that you guys want to discuss and talk about, please DM myself or West Fulham or Jamaal Horn from the London FA. Also, just to let people know, on Sunday at 8 o'clock, myself, Dwayne Townsend, and Tyrone Roberts will be discussing a lot of things about football, and there's going to be a lot of conversations that people just do not even know. So this is probably the most eagerly anticipated show with DMs and calls and whatnot. So this is coming out this Sunday at 8 o'clock. Thank you again to Andy and Jamaal for coming on. Please like and subscribe. And again, please tune in Sunday at 8 o'clock.